Dirt biking is perhaps one of the most physically active sports known to man. It doesn't matter whether you're a top dog in trials or motocross, or just a casual trail rider. Throwing around a 200 plus pound motorcycle in the dirt for prolonged periods of time requires great strength and effort. Now, I've seen countless videos and social media posts and forums that will go into great detail about riding technique and bike setup for certain styles of riding. And that is really important. In fact, I would say that all of that accounts for the great majority of your riding skill. What's strange though is that I don't really see anything out there that talks about overall fitness. Not in relation to this sport anyways. And I happen to think that time spent training and eating healthy really translates to your performance on the trails or the track. And every little bit helps.
So, with that said, what do you say we go get swole so we can really up our game on those dirt scoots? Boom!
Alright, so tell me something. What kind of movement might you be simulating every time you pick up your bike? How much energy output is there when you're blasting through a gnarly single track? How much of a beating are your joints withstanding when you're brapping all over the multiple jumps, whoops, rocks, logs, etc.? All of these questions matter regarding not only your bike setup and skill, but your fitness levels as well. Perhaps if you had a little bit more strength, you could have muscled your bike over those last few obstacles. Or if you had just a little bit more gas in the tank, figuratively speaking, you could have made those last few laps on the track or those last few miles on the gnarly trail without getting so winded and therefore losing your flow and focus. So it only seems logical that we should keep our bodies in top form with a solid training regimen as well as a clean diet. But for now, we're just going to focus on the training aspect.
Now, we all generally just want to suck less, not get hurt, and improve our overall day-to-day living. So we're just going to go ahead and stop dicking around and dive into it, starting with perhaps the most important aspect of brapping, stamina.
This is essentially the meat and potatoes of dirt bike activity. When you're riding at a fast pace on a track or trail for many laps or many miles at a time, your muscles are under constant tension with only a few different body positions to work with. Now, your breathing also becomes more apparent as your adrenaline increases and you start hitting more jumps or more obstacles at speed. Or if you're lifting your bike around after you get stuck.
Woo! Almost got it. Oh, come on. Whew. Whew. Breathe. Breathe. It's like a normal day at the gym. Just breathe.
Make no mistake, the best way you're going to increase your dirt bike stamina is if you keep riding the damn dirt bike. However, like I said before, physical training will translate into other physical activities or hobbies. So, what can we do to help increase our overall stamina? Cardio. Now, there's a few different ways you can perform cardio. There's the low intensity method that involves what you might expect when you think of cardio, such as slow jogging, cycling, elliptical machines, etc. These are great for long-term heart conditioning and cardiovascular endurance. This method can benefit most riders as there are less rest periods between workouts, so you can pretty much do this type of cardio every day. Also, they are a low impact solution for building your tendons, ligaments, and joints. And I'm sure many of you will agree that dirt biking takes its toll on our joints enough as it is. Now, there's really only two major cons to this type of cardio. What it really amounts to is just the fact that it's time consuming and it's boring as shit. So there you go. That's about it. Then there's the high intensity stuff. HIIT training, if you will. Now, there is actually quite a wide range of workouts that would fall into the HIIT category. It could be sprinting all out for 15 to 30 seconds and then walking for a minute or two and then repeating that several times. It could be full bodyweight circuits with high repetitions or timed intervals with exercises like burpees or box jumps or mountain climbers. There are also weighted versions that might include kettle swings or dumbbell step-ups. Now, these exercises, when performed in a HIIT fashion, are very beneficial because you are mostly getting the benefits of low-intensity cardio in a much shorter time period. Plus, you can do these exercises anywhere. You don't need any fancy equipment.
But wait, there's more. You may even get more benefits such as muscular growth and burning calories for longer after your workouts, unlike that boring low-intensity stuff. But I'm a bit biased. Who cares?
The major con to this is that there is a lot more exertion involved in these exercises and you are more prone to injury as a result. So proceed with caution, but also don't be a pansy about it.
Okay, so as far as what I think improves your overall dirt bike stamina, well, it's all pretty good for you really. If you're older or if you have some bad joints or anything like that, prior injuries, the low intensity stuff is going to be the way to go. You're going to want to hit up your rowing machine, the elliptical, maybe do some cycling, that type of stuff. Now, if you really want to up the intensity levels, HIIT training is going to be the way to go. You're going to be doing some lateral step-up jumps, push-up rows, burpees, mountain climbers, kettle swings, jump squats, multiple crunch variations, etc. You know, there's so much on the list I can't even begin to describe them. Now, these are just a few that will improve upon everything that your body uses while you're dirt biking, essentially. And just remember that your best bet is to include all joint and muscle movements and that you're looking to improve upon your oxygen intake and overall heart rate. Just make sure that you're doing all of your cardio workouts safely and within your limits, but don't be sandbagging about it either. You want to look for improvements to your stamina, not stagnation. You'll just be wasting your time then.
So we've just gone over the big dog of dirt bike physical fitness, but now it's time to talk about another type of training that I think often gets overlooked by many riders, and that is strength and hypertrophy training. So I said stamina was the meat and potatoes for dirt biking, but strength and athletic physique are going to be your fruits and vegetables, or something. I don't fucking know. Anyways, the point is, this is something that should not be neglected in whatever training regimen you have. It's more important than you realize, and we're going to go ahead and go over why. So, when you're riding, there will always be those moments where you will have to literally pick up or drag your 200 plus pound motorcycle in order to adjust or recover from a crash. Or you might need a little extra power coming from your legs, chest, and shoulders while pushing your bike up a hill. And when you take a fall, no matter how minor or severe, any major injuries could be thwarted if you've got a little bit more muscle mass to help protect your bones, joints, and vital organs. Think of it as your first and most important layer of armor, if you will. Now, your strength levels are going to accommodate your stamina as well. The two go hand in hand because you can't really have muscular endurance without the muscles, right? If you're constantly going over whoops and obstacles that are tiring out your arms, shoulders, and legs, your best bet will be to build those muscles up so they and their accommodating joints can further withstand the beating that they're taking. So, the obvious question is, do you even lift? So even though they sort of go together, I'm going to go ahead and separate building muscle from building strength, because their methods are a little different. First is hypertrophy training, which is muscle building, for those of you who don't know. Now, resistance or anaerobic training is going to be your go-to when you're trying to build overall size and strength. So obviously what comes to mind are exercises like dumbbell bench press, or lunges, maybe some bicep curls, or how about some crunches, or whatever. There's actually so many different exercises when it comes to hypertrophy training that I sure as shit ain't going to go down the list here, but I can give you a few guidelines to start out. First off, you want to make sure you're working out your full body, every muscle group. Do not leave any muscle group out of the picture, because you want your body to be nice and balanced, so everything needs to be built up at once. If you're a beginner or novice at resistance training, a nice start would be a 3 to 4 day full body routine a week. So essentially every other day, you can do a full body workout under a fairly quick time frame. With full body, include your push-ups, pull-ups, squats, shoulder press, and crunches. And once you become more accommodated to working out, you can start increasing the time frame of your training, the amount of days you train, and start separating muscle groups for every day. Then and only then can you become more advanced and adept with your training. So when it comes to hypertrophy or gaining muscle, the rep and set range is important, as well as the rest periods between sets. Generally speaking, you're going to be staying between the 8 to 15 rep range and a maximum of 1 to 2 minutes of rest between sets for optimal muscle growth. Now, there is some give or take with that depending on very specific goals and strategies for resistance training, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to keep it simple. Now, when it comes to strength training, which would be for the more advanced fitness enthusiasts out there, you're essentially taking some of the main exercises in resistance training and you're increasing the weight to the point that you can only dish out about 3 to 6 reps. And you do this because it's the only way to become stronger, and therefore it translates into your hypertrophy training in order to promote even more muscle growth. See, the two go hand in hand, like I said. Now, of course, with strength training, what may come to mind might be the big 3 of the lifts, that being the heavy bench press, heavy squats, and heavy deadlifts. But strength training can apply to other exercises as well, so long as they are essential compound movements. And while you can acquire more strength with weight training alone, you can also do so with a method that is, of course, my personal favorite, calisthenics, or bodyweight training, if you will. Being able to manipulate your body in more extreme ways, I believe, can benefit your riding as well as promote muscle and joint longevity. Plus, I happen to think it's less boring and more challenging, and you also don't need a whole lot of equipment. But the cool thing about all of this is that no matter what your fitness level is, beginner, intermediate, advanced, there is always a progression for you to overcome in just about every exercise.
Now, one quick note, be mindful of your form during your workouts. If you have shitty form, or if you're doing half reps, or if you're doing CrossFit, you're not going to do yourself any favors. So make sure that with whatever exercise you're doing that you are executing it properly, otherwise you'll be spinning your wheels in the mud. Or worse, you'll just hurt yourself. That means no ego lifting. Leave the ego at the door. Also, there are no specific lifts for dirt bike strength. You either do it all or you exit the gene pool, period.
Now, a quick little piece of advice before we sign off here. Environment and equipment is key to your workouts. So I would definitely advise getting a gym membership somewhere if possible. Because one, it's going to have all the equipment you need in order to acquire some gains, ranging from weight machines to free weights to flexing stations. And two, it provides an atmosphere with less distractions and more like-minded folk who could assist you with your training. And you'll find, over time, that mindset is key to effective training. But if you don't or even can't have a gym membership, at-home workouts can also get the job done. Buy yourself a few pieces of equipment for at-home workouts, perhaps a cheapy little bench or squat rack. Maybe some dumbbells and kettlebells. Or some workout bands. Pull-up bars or parallettes. And it doesn't have to be all that costly either. But hey, if you're going to be a real cheap bastard about it, then you can even do full workouts without workout equipment. Use anything you got at your house, such as your chairs, towels, or your doors, or your dog, I don't care.
Don't cheat yourself, no excuses, don't be a bitch. Alright, so that concludes our dirt bike fitness video. I hope you got something out of it. I think it's a topic that usually gets mentioned offhand in the community, but it's really worth going more in depth because I think it's quite crucial to our lifestyles. And if by any chance you are wanting to dive into health and fitness just a little bit further, go ahead and check out a YouTube channel called Natty Gains. It's a fitness channel that I've been working with for the past few months now, and David, who runs it, is really one hell of a guy, and he really knows his stuff, as I'm sure you can see. We've got lots of content on there, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and a brand new website soon to come. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit that bell, leave a comment, yada yada yada, do whatever, but at least do me a solid and share the shit out of this video. And also do the same thing for Natty Gains as well. We need the traffic, so don't be an asshole. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I guess I'll see you again whenever I feel like uploading shit again. Okay? Toodles. Boom!